Hello and welcome to another great episode of F.Y.I. Live. I have a very special guest today, the one, the only author speaker, Mr. Robert Ceja, also known around the international circles as Mr. R.C. Cooley. And he's here to talk to us about the art of losing weight. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you, Carter, for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this conversation. I know that I followed your engagements, your books. As a matter of fact, I have an autographed copy of your book at one of your signings as well too. So you're doing a lot of great things. And I know we have a limited time, so I want to jump right into it, man. Tell the folks to get to know who you are. Tell them a little bit about your background.
All right. Well, I had an eclectic background growing up. I was born in Calexico, California. Then I lived for 5 years in a farm community with chickens, pigs. Then I went for 10 years to a small town called Calexico on the border. So I grew up there. Then I went back to Mexico, and for the next 10 years, ended up in TJ playing music around the late 60s, and then got called in for service in Vietnam. I didn't go to Vietnam, but I called in. So I ended up the next 4 years in Germany, basically in Frankfurt. And from there, got my GI Bill, came back and started my world in LA, Los Angeles. I became a principal. And towards the last 16 years, I was also a professor at California State University at Dominguez Hill. So when I retired, I was like everybody. I had an overweight problem, and I thought, let me research this, let me see what's going on. And I basically started trying. When I retired, I was about 60, 70, well, about 80 pounds overweight. And so I started doing exercise and my nutrition and everything, and I got down about 15 pounds. I was doing okay according to my estimates. And my wife brought home a book called The End of Overeating by David Kessler. And my background was psychology, and I really enjoyed a class called physiological psychology, which is the psychology of those things that you can't see, the psychology of love, psychology of anger, psychology of happiness, the psychology of hunger. So I had this background, and when I read this book, it gave me all of the biology behind what I was trying to research, which is why does the world keep growing? Why are we at 85% of the people being overweight when in the 50s it was only 7 to 8% of the people? So I said, when I read this book, my jaw dropped. I said, I understand it now, but the book didn't come with a set of rules. It just came with understandings and research into the food industry, research into the physiology of people. So at that point, I said, I've got to do something here along these lines. And so I didn't do I continued doing the exercise and the eating, but I basically tinkered with what he was talking about in terms of the physiology. And with less exercise and less concern about what I was eating, I dropped more pounds than I had in the previous 2 months, in 1 month. So I thought, if I can put these learnings into a method, into some kind of a can that is easy to follow, then I said, then this is going to do a lot for a lot of people who are struggling with not with overweight. Overweight is not an illness, even though obesity is classified as a disease. They classified in 2013. It doesn't mean that it's a weird thing, because you can have a person who's overweight who is perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with them. And you can have a person who is a good weight who is a mess physically. You know, they've got diabetes, they might have this or that. So that's where I was trying to figure out what this is. And that's when I decided, let me read this book. And the book just shattered everything I thought I knew about weight loss. And so I started doing more learning.
That's awesome, man. And folks, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We are talking to author, speaker, Mr. Robert Ceja, The Art of Losing Weight. If you want to follow Mr. Ceja as well, too, his contact information is scrolling below. You can go to his website as igenprocess.com. His email is on the screen, also scrolling, or you can give him a call as well, too. One of the other things I want to ask you, but before I move to that, is regarding your background as well. I don't think folks know that you are also one heck of a musician. You kind of left that out, man. I was kind of waiting for that as well.
Well,
so
since you didn't mention that you're one hell of a musician too, then I figured then we're not going to bring that in. But
oh no, I have to bring that up, man.
For those of you who are musicians, Carlos is an awesome shredder. And you know what that means. So hopefully you'll see us in action one of these days. Hopefully we can do it again, Carlos. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I needed something to keep me sane throughout all my, you know, the world of work. And you have to agree, music just brings the balance to your life, and you know, you keep your sanity. Yeah. So thank you for that acknowledgement.
Yeah, and also that'll be that's definitely a topic for another show and a different subject for sure. But let me get back to some of the stuff that you were sharing with us too. And it's a great background, it's a great story. But you also mentioned, you talked about the Igen process. Talk to us a little bit about what that is, man.
Well, the Igen process is really the driving force behind the art of losing weight. It's a systematic, it's a transparent approach to weight reduction. This method will guide you to significant and consecutive weight reductions that lead you to your ideal weight. And let me explain that. If you lose weight, even if you lose 3 pounds, and then you lose 3 pounds again, and you lose 3 pounds again, that is what I call significant weight reduction. Now, some people may lose 7 pounds, and then lose another 7 pounds, and then lose another 7 pounds. So what the method does, it finds your particular way of how you acquire weight, and it works with that so that you can accumulate weight reductions consistently until you get to your ideal weight. Now, it sounds easier to say it than what it actually is, but that's all it is. It's a very humane way of losing weight because you don't have to stress yourself. And anyone here listening to me can lose any amount of weight and can start at any time. And all you really have to do is sign up for our complimentary information about the Igen process, where you can ask questions, you can learn about what you do, you can learn about what the instructor does, and you can learn about why the method works, why nothing is left up to chance. So my online class, which is really what I'm asking people to join, my online class is a time commitment of 30 minutes once a week at the same time and same day. So if you have a class that's Mondays at 10 o'clock in the morning, it's every Monday at 10 o'clock for half an hour, month in, month out, until you get to your ideal weight. Now, let me say something about that. If it's not working for you, if you see that nothing is happening, then you just leave. There's nothing lost, if you will, because it's a weekly thing. So I am counting on the fact that if a person follows this process and follows it like a recipe, it will guide you. And it doesn't leave things up to chance. The weekly meeting is precisely to maintain that focus. It's precisely to say, I had this success, or I had this setback. And it never goes that far off that we don't get back in the saddle again. So the Igen process is really just the Igen process is a set of tools, steps, and procedures that don't require you to do anything other than what you do now. It's just
Got it.
how you do it. So that's really what the IGEN process is, and it's not described in the book. I speak about it, but it's not a how-to book. The book itself talks about losing weight, talks about all the factors relevant. It's a holistic approach to losing weight, but it doesn't give you the step-by-step clearly. You can read between the lines and go there, and you can probably make it work for you if you read between the lines, but it's not that explicit. But the IGEN process is the method that is behind the art of losing weight.
Gotcha. So I also want to take a moment here, and as folks, if you guys don't know, this is Mr. Robert Ceja. He is an author. He's a speaker. He is the creator of The Art of Losing Weight. I have my own copy. You guys can get this. It's still available at Amazon, correct?
Yes.
To purchase directly? Okay, great. So take a look at it. His contact information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Please make sure that you share out this feed, his contact information. What I want to bring up, and it's also because time flies when you're having fun, right? Especially when it's on a great topic like this that everybody is really interested in, is Mr. Ceja and I were kind of talking about this, and what we are coming up with in the next several weeks, this is brand new, is we're going to have a showcase show every Thursdays at about 4:30 called The Art of Losing Weight. And he will be your host. I will be your co-host on there. You want to talk a little bit about what we have planned for them?
Absolutely, Carlos. Let me kind of show you what I'm doing now. In the next 10 weeks, what we're going to see is the foundation, is the framework of the IGEN process. And you'll see that the IGEN process is rooted in 3 biological principles. Very simple. This is something that is common to all humans. 3 biological principles. We created 2 operating principles which guide your way of thinking when you're doing the process, and then the IGEN process, which is the one set of procedures. Now, the first 3, the 3 biological principles, like I said, they're common to everybody. And I will speak on the first common principle the first week. And on the second one, the second week. On the third one, there's a lot to say on each one, but let me cover them right now, just so we kind of have an idea of where we're going. Now, the 3 biological principles are very simple. There's only 3. And the first one merely says that there's only one way to gain weight. There's no other way to gain weight. Some people have said, well, no, you can beef up and have muscle and gain weight in that way. Yes, and I put in the world, it's only one way to gain weight immediately. There's only one way to gain weight. And the only way that we go up in weight is through eating. There is no other way. Some people say, well, if you're a couch potato and you just lay on the couch and you don't do anything all day, you're going to gain weight. No, you're not. You're going to lose weight because you are living, your heart is pumping. Now, if you're a couch potato that is eating potato chips and eating things all day long, yes, you're going to eat weight. But just being a couch potato doesn't put weight on you. So there's only one way to gain weight, and it's eating. So all our methodology is behind that, one of those, behind that principle and the other 2. So the second principle is weight is never stable, never. From one minute to the other, your weight is never stable. Now, some people say, well, my weight is stable. I've weighed 150 pounds for the last 15 years. Well, yes, your average weight is stable. But if you check your weight during the day, it is not stable, because as soon as you eat, your weight goes up. And as soon as you stop eating, your weight starts to gradually come down because your heart is beating, your lungs are contracting, digestion is taking up a lot of energy, and you're burning that energy at a certain rate. Then you eat again, and so you go up again, and then you start losing it again. And at dinner time, you eat again, and then you go for about 8 hours without eating anything, and you're back at your original weight. Your weight was never stable during the whole day. And that's my point. Your weight is not a stable thing because you're acquiring energy by eating, and you're burning it through living. Your weight minute to minute is not stable. Maybe you can't measure it because it's so little that it's dropped, but over 3 hours, you can measure the weight drop. Over 8 hours, most definitely. Some people lose between 2 pounds up to 5 pounds overnight, just sleeping, because the body is the heart is beating. Guess how many times the heart beat and the lungs contracted? All that requires energy. Where are they getting it? From the fat cells. And just like a car, if you fill up a car with gasoline and it runs out of gasoline, it's going to weigh that many pounds less. So as you use up the fat in the cells, your weight starts dropping. So that is the second principle we build the process on, that your weight is never stable. And so we work with that. We work with the fact that you only can gain weight one way. We work with the fact that you're constantly losing, but you're constantly putting it back. And the third principle behind the IGEN process is that any disruption of the food supply for the person triggers extreme energy conservation. So if you stop eating, if you lose weight, your body is going to, the metabolism is going to slow down incredibly. The body goes into starvation mode, if you will, because it senses that there is no more food coming. And remember, the brain does not know when food is coming. The part of the brain that I'm talking about, and I'm getting ahead of it, but your brain senses that you're going to starve if you don't start eating more, and if you don't start getting hungry and putting more in your food. But you cause that yourself by eating less because you're on a diet. And so that extreme reaction is what we have to fight against. And when that reaction wins, that's what's called the second yo of the yo-yo. The first yo that. So we work with that reaction of the body that says extreme conservation. And so the process is built around that. And the way it's built around that is because as that the body reacts.
Hey, Rob.
To the
let me have you stop for a second.
As long as
let me have you stop for a second, because
normal non-disruption, even if it's less food.
I'm going to have you stop for 1 second. Yeah, no, I think it froze a little bit, so we missed some of what you were saying on that last portion. So it seems that we're trying to catch up on your end too. It's a little bit choppy, but it looks like you're back.
Okay. You tell me where I left off.
Actually, just the last minute of what you were displaying about the third option on there.
Okay, I was talking about the third biological principle.
Robert.
Right.
Yeah.
He's telling you to stop for a minute.
What's that? Okay, he got it already. He got it. My wife is telling me you stopped, or that you had stopped, or something happened.
Right.
So we got back up here. So
that's good,
I was
man.
I was talking about the third biological principle, which is that when the body senses a disruption to its food supply, okay, disruption, it goes into immediate conservation, and that means that it's going to slow down your metabolism to where you're barely expending the minimum amount of calories. And what that does is it keeps more of your food inside your body to take away all the calories, and you get very hungry. your body starts, saying, I'm deprived, you need to eat. And so that makes that biological principle hard, but it doesn't last forever. It only lasts for about 4 weeks. If you maintain your weight, the metabolism will catch up and will even up again. We'll go back to normal. Although you're eating less food, your metabolism will be at normal. So we work with that. So what it boils down is to one of the principles of the IGEN process, which is when you're losing weight for the 5 days that you're losing weight, you're watching the food that you eat. That's all you're doing, watching the food that you eat and seeing that you lose weight. For the next 4 weeks, you do not watch your weight. You do not watch your food anymore. You watch your weight, and you watch your weight at night. So you should never go up past a certain weight at night, because that means you'll be up. And so it puts us in a really hard situation, some people, because even if you eat the same amount of food that you're eating to lower your weight, your body might still go up in weight a little bit, because it's taking everything and holding it. So it's not about the food. You just make sure that your weight doesn't go up at night, not in the morning. In the morning, it's too late. The day happened already. You already did what you're going to do, and there's nothing you can do. The trick is, don't let your weight get up to a certain point at night, because that's the way you control your morning weight. So that's the third biological principle, and you don't follow these. These are just the way your body works. But the method, the IGEN process, takes these things into account in the steps and the procedures that take you there. And when you understand what the body is doing through the class and everything makes sense. Now, I said there's 3 biological principles. There's 2 operating principles that we use. Are we still got time, Carlos? We still have a few minutes?
You still have a couple of minutes, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let me talk real quick about the 2 operating principles. They are very simple. The first one just says amount matters. That's your principle. Now, how does that apply in real life? Well, amount matters, which means that if you're eating a pizza with high calories and you only eat half, it matters, right? You're going to cut down on the calories. If you only eat 3/4, you're still going to cut down on the calories. So amount matters. If you're eating a perfectly good, healthy salad, good for you and healthy, but remember, it still has calories because you've got, I don't know, whatever's in it, chicken, and you put dressing in it, it's a very healthy salad, but the principle still applies. Amount matters. If you eat half of that salad, you will be ahead. You will be satisfying the principle, because that's the whole point here, that amount matters wherever it is. The other principle is more of a paradigm shift. The idea is that most people ask this question: how do I lose weight? How can I lose weight? That's the question we ask. Well, the shift in paradigm says, don't ask how you lose weight. Ask, how do you gain weight? The answer to that is going to give you a lot more handle to work on weight gain than you find out, how do I lose weight? Because I will give you 1,000 ways to lose weight. Run slow, run medium, jump up. Don't jump up so high. Walk backward. I mean, anything that you do it enough can lose weight. But why ask that? It's a meaningless question. There's so many ways. But when you ask, how do you gain weight? Now it's like, whoops. Now this becomes personal. It becomes unique, and it becomes something that you can do something about. Because all you have to, everything that you're asked to do through the art of losing weight is things that you do at home that you can do on your own. That's why I can have this online class and still guide people to lose weight without being there, without ever, noticing. You just have to be honest that you do weigh that and that you did do that and that this did happen. So those are the two operating principles that as we go through the class, they become more and more clear and affect you. And then it's a 3-2-1, 3 biological principles, 2 operating principles, and then the 1 method. And the last class, I will talk about how the IGEN method proceeds. It's really a series of cycles that do exactly the same thing, but at different weights. You drop, and then we do the same thing, and you drop, and we do the same thing. And it becomes a very simple process. And we took what is considered a complex problem, like weight loss, because it's complex. There is no model you can follow. Weight loss is like finding the right partner. You have to do it on the run. You have to kind of tinker with it as you're doing it. And that's why it becomes a complex problem. By doing what I did and phrasing it as how do you gain weight, we moved it from being a complex problem to being a simple problem, maybe a complicated problem, but a simple problem has solutions. A complicated problem is just a lot of simple problems put together, but they are clear. So I've created a method that's clear. That's why I call it a transparent and clear method. What I ask you to do is very simple. It's clear. Is it hard to do? Absolutely. You're going to be fighting with your biological urges that say, why are you not feeding me as usual? Why aren't we eating a whole slice of pie? Why are you only giving me half a slice of pie? You will be, bombarded by that. But if you know what you're doing, you just tell your subconscious, wait till tomorrow when we look at the scale, and that's why I was doing it. So you convince yourself. It's a very simple, it's empirical. You can see it in process. So anyway, we'll have more times. And I'm telling everybody out there, if you have questions, if you have any concerns, send them to Carlos and or send them through some kind of method, and I can answer those questions also or engage in that discussion.
Yeah, and folks, if you have, like Robert said, if you have any questions or for our next show or any upcoming shows, please send me a message. We'll make sure we get it to it. If you're just joining us now, please make sure you watch the replay, share it out with your friends. This has been Mr. Robert Ceja, author and writer of The Art of Losing Weight. His contact information is on the screen there, website, email, and cell phone as well. I know that I'm looking forward to the new series, The Art of Losing Weight. This has been very insightful, and I'm glad that you were able to share with this for us. The other thing I'd like to say to our Spanish-speaking folks, vamos a tener el programa también, El Arte de Perder Peso, con el autor, señor Roberto Ceja. That will be coming up very soon as well, too. So you have to make sure that you tune in every Thursday, 4:30 for the next few weeks so you can learn more about this amazing process and learn more from the best, Mr. Ceja himself. So I want to thank you for your time, and I want to look forward to the next show. And do you want to say any last parting words before we go?
I'll see you next Thursday.
Excellent.
Join us.
All right, sir.
All right. Thank you, Carter.
You got it. Take care.
Everybody have a good evening.